Hi, and welcome to This Week in East Brunswick, the Township's own news and information program. Today we'll learn more about a Township Latchkey Program Study Committee and a survey being distributed to Township parents with Judith Lebline and Sandra Landman. Ninth grader Stephen Shasha will present this week's comment on the Constitution. Then we'll look in on a baseball card exchange which took place last weekend at the library and learn more about flower arranging from Peggy Ballister-Howells and students from Middlesex County Vo-Tech High School. We'll have consumer information on Medicare and Medicaid from Adrian Eisner, and we'll end with our Township Council review. First, here's a look at what's on Channel 8 next week. Monday morning at 10, Lenore Kulik presents Just Aerobics on Look Great, Feel Great. At 10:30, it's stories from the library for preschoolers. At 7 p.m. Tuesday, February's edition of Eye on the Library focuses on services provided by the Reference Department here at the library. And at 7:30, John Magliero speaks with home news reporter Harry Hilliard on Sports Talk. For Art's Sake, Wednesday evening at 7:30 features a visit with Dolly Vasta to the studio of Israeli-American sculptor Michael Shockham. At 8 p.m., The Arts highlights the Summer Arts Institute for high school students. And we'll be back next Thursday at 7 and 8 for an all-new edition of This Week in East Brunswick. Then at 8:30 Thursday night, Mayor Fox interviews Township staff members about East Brunswick's snow removal program. Check Channel 8's program guide for repeats of these shows and for announcements of high school sports coverage and Township Council budget hearings. Now let's join Judith Lebline in our studio.
Hello, I'm Judith Lebline, Director of Recreation, Parks, and Community Services for the Township of East Brunswick. And this evening, I'm here with Sandra Landman, who is the chairperson of the Latchkey Study Committee. Sandy, what is this Latchkey Study Committee? What's it all about?
The Latchkey Study Committee was formed by the Township Council in October in response to my request and the request of several other persons in the township to look into the need for school-age child care. There are a great number of working parents in our community, dual-income families, that do not have care for their children, and unfortunately there are probably many who are going home alone after school and are not involved in any formal programs. And I felt that it was the time to request that something be done about it, and I asked the council if it were possible to look into this, the possibility of having a school-based latchkey program in the community that is not existing right now.
So then this term latchkey is another term for children that are home after school without any care. Where did they get this name latchkey?
Well, there's an interesting history about the name latchkey. It started back during World War II when women went off to work in the factories to replace their husbands who had gone to the war. And their children, at the time there was no such thing really as daycare, women stayed home, and their children would wear their keys around their neck, and they became known as latchkey children. And it's a term that's followed them, or followed that type of child through the years. It's coming out of favor at this time now, and the term that's being used more often is school-age child care, because it's child care for children who are of school age, as opposed to daycare, which most people think of as care for children below school age, preschoolers and younger.
So when you made your request to the Township Council, from that request came the appointment of a committee to study this question here in East Brunswick. Who else is on the committee, or what types of people are on that committee?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because we have a fantastic committee. We have some very committed, dedicated people who began calling me as soon as they heard that there was a movement on to look into this problem. And as you know, you're on the committee, which is
wonderful choice.
Wonderful choice is right. We also have Councilman Jack Sinagra, and he's also a very committed member. School Board member Neil Rosen, PTA Representative Tia Cassiato Smallwood. We also have Mike Baker, who's the Democratic chairman in town, and several members of the community. Our vice chairman is Karen Schneider, who 2 years ago for the township conducted a latchkey survey at the time, which we are now working on updating.
And there's also parents that are interested in the possibility of this program happening. What kind of work has the committee been doing to look at this problem?
The committee's been very busy. Our major focus has been in devising and getting out to the public a survey to determine the need for school-age childcare. We decided to do the survey over again. That was done 2 years ago because of the many changes that have taken place in East Brunswick. As you know, Smith School was closed and Irwin School reopened after having been closed, and also the 6th graders were transferred out of the schools and into the middle schools. So there have been great many changes. In addition, the committee is looking into neighboring programs to see if we can gain ideas and lean on the expertise of others who are running these programs, because these are not new programs or a new idea in the state. It's not a real old idea, less than 10 years old, but there are other communities right in our area that are a little bit ahead of us, and we hope to catch up. We've been looking into that. We're going to be looking into how the schools in our community are used now, so that we can get an idea of, who has the room and space for this kind of a program. And looking into financing as well from the state. There is grant money available for startup costs so that we would not have to use any taxpayer money.
Oh, well, I'm sure they're glad to hear that. Currently, there are other municipalities, as you mentioned, running this kind of program either through the township or through the Board of Education or in a cooperative effort, such as the study committee is looking into. Also, there are private concerns. As I understand, the YMCA also has a after-school latchkey program, and they're represented on the board as well. Is that right?
Right. The YMCA is represented on our board. Basically, there are 3 kinds of models for school-based, school-age child care. One model is run by the school district. The other type is run by an organization in the community, and another might be run by parents who get together and form sort of a corporation. I've also heard of it being done by the PTA. Neighboring communities are all using these various models.
Now, the original survey was done by a grant from the Recreation and Parks Advisory Board, and certain data was collected. What data do you hope to gain from this current survey that I understand just went out in the mail and should be received now by parents of children K through 6, is it?
Yes. Well, we hope to find out exactly where the need is greatest. There are 8 elementary schools in the community, and we're looking at where the need might be focused. There may be some that do not have as many dual working families as others. So we're looking at that. We want to look at just what the need is in terms of before and after school. This is all mainly a data collecting process that we won't necessarily use right away, but it will help us guide the committee in our recommendations to the council.
So when residents receive this survey home, they're to fill it out and put it back in the latchkey envelope. I believe you have one
Okay,
there.
I'll show you
Maybe
what
show
parents
that
have
to us.
received. This went out last week.
Okay.
They received 2 pieces of paper in an envelope addressed to parents of one of the children in their family if they have more than one in elementary school. The cover letter is a cover letter that says, "Dear Parents," and it explains what the committee is, the fact that the committee is doing this survey in cooperation with the Board of Education in East Brunswick, and this explains how they should return it and fill it out.
How do they return it, Sandy?
The surveys must be returned no later than February 10th to the children's classroom teachers. The teachers have been prepared to receive them. They know that they're coming, and they just simply have to return it in this envelope that also came with the survey, and it's marked Latchkey Survey. That was a nice addition by through your efforts. The second page, of course, is a survey. It's 1 page, and we ask that any comments be put on the back. It's quite easy to fill out. Mostly it's circling an answer or writing in the name of a school.
So right now,
Nothing
Sandy, we're
confusing.
gathering data, trying to put together the solution to this problem, and we're going to be going to council in March with a plan for a possible latchkey program that would be self-supporting and not tax dependent at all.
That's right.
And how about questions? Where can they call you?
They can call me at 390-7651.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Stephen Shasha, and I'm a 9th grader at Churchill Junior High School, and I'll be bringing you this week's comment on the Constitution. My subject is James Madison and the Virginia Plan. The delegates from Virginia and those from New Jersey both submitted plans for the framers of the Constitution to consider. James Madison, being unsatisfied with the Articles of Confederation, was one of those who thought there was a need for a new Constitution. Before attending the convention, he drew up the Virginia Plan. It created a national government which had the power to act upon the people directly. By the Articles of Confederation, the national government had to act through the states. By Madison's plan, the people would be governed by the national and state governments, which would receive their authority from the people. The plan called for 3 branches to the national government: the executive, judicial, and legislative. This legislative branch would be the most powerful of the 3 and elect the members of the other 2 branches. The legislative branch would contain a Senate and a House of Representatives. The people would elect the members of the House of Representatives, which in turn would elect the members of the Senate from a list selected by each state government. The number of representatives in each house would be based upon the number of people in each state. In this way, the legislative branch acted upon the people and not the states. The old Articles of Confederation gave each state only 1 vote. The legislative branch would also have the powers to make laws that could not be passed by the states themselves. They could call the armed forces to act against the state to enforce congressional laws. They had the power to reject laws passed by state legislatures that conflicted with the nation's interest or the Constitution. Only part of the Virginia Plan was used, but it was the basis of the Constitution we now have today. Thank you.
Last Sunday, the Children's Department at the library sponsored a baseball card swap, which attracted over 250 collectors of all ages. A selection of 1988 cards was offered as a door prize. Only swaps were allowed, no buying or selling was permitted. Local collector Michael Walkowitz was coordinator for the program.
There is a growing interest in the hobby today. I call it a hobby, but to some people it's become a business. It's almost like a stock market with baseball players. When they do well, the value of their cards go up. When they go into a slump, the value of their cards go down. I've also seen articles in the Wall Street Journal about baseball cards and collecting, where stock brokers are actually investing in baseball cards today. I've been doing card shows and meeting stars over the last 2 years. Some of the stars that I have met is Mickey Mantle, Pete Rose, Eric Davis, Ron Darling, and a number of other baseball players. The hobby that I see it right now will be a boom this year. All the 88 cards are now out. Right now we have these here cello packs, which are in the supermarkets. We have wax packs. These are tops, by the way. They normally sell for about 40 cents in your retail stores. There happens to be a new card on the market today. They're called Score. They have not reached the market yet, but they will be on the market in the next 2 weeks. Besides Score, there are Sport Flicks, Don Ross, and Flair. Well, we're hoping for a couple hundred kids to get together today. And so far, what I have seen with the sign-up, that we do have at least 100 people that have shown up so far today.
I've been collecting for 4 years, and I just want to tell you that baseball card collecting is one of the highest investments you can get today. Like one Mickey Mantle is $175 already. Just a 1978 Paul Molitor and Alan Trammell, $28. One of the best cards to get is Don Mattingly. He goes up by $5 a month. Everybody's going to be looking for mostly Andre Dawson, MVPs, Rookie of the Years, and people that do good.
Most of the collectors agreed that the swap was a great success and hope to continue it on a regular basis.
Hi, this is Peggy Ballister-Howells, Middlesex County Agricultural Agent, and today we're at the Vocational High School in East Brunswick in their horticulture department. They do wonderful things here, and we thought that perhaps you would like to know what's going on. In the horticulture department, one of the projects that they work on regularly is flower arranging. And we have here 2 students that are going to show you some of the techniques they learn in their class and some of the beautiful finished products when they're done. We're going to start out with corsages. Now you can make a corsage that you would wear on your lapel or on a dress, or also a corsage that you would wear on your wrist, a wristlet. And we have Danielle that's going to show us how to do this. Hi, Danielle.
Hi.
What are you going to start with? What's the very first thing you do when you make a corsage?
Wire the corsage.
You wire the corsage. Okay, will you show us how you do that? And what kind of a flower do you have there?
Mini corsage. Mini carnation.
A mini carnation? Yeah. And what other kind of flowers do you commonly use when you make corsages?
Can use just about anything.
Like what?
Roses.
What are your favorites?
Carnations.
Carnations are your favorites. Are they easy to work with?
Yeah.
Could you show us exactly what you're doing here? You put the wire in through the flower and then you've brought it down. Could you hold that up and show the camera? And then what do you do after that?
Take the tape and wrap it around.
Is that a special kind of tape?
Floristry tape.
Floristry tape? Okay, and exactly what are you doing? Could you explain it as you do it?
Take it, wrap it around, make sure it sticks to it.
Make sure it sticks to what?
Sticks to the other tape.
I see. And then how far down do you go?
As far as you want, really.
How about
Halfway down.
about halfway down? How long is that? About 3 or 4 inches?
Yeah.
How many flowers do you usually put in a single corsage?
Gotta use an odd amount, like 3, 5, 7.
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Gotta use an odd amount, like 3, 5, or 7.
Why?
Because to make it look good.
Are you trying to tell me that an odd number makes a better balance in the arrangement?
Yeah.
And do you use all the same color or do you use different ones?
You use different ones, or you can use all the same color.
Okay. Do you think that you could show us what a finished one would look like?
Sure.
Now, is this one that you would wear on your wrist or on your lapel?
On your lapel.
And did you do this one?
No.
Who did it?
I don't know.
One of the other students in the class?
Yeah.
And how long does it generally take you to make one of these?
10, 15 minutes.
That's it? Just 10 or 15 minutes? And do you sell these?
Mm-hmm.
To whom?
Customers?
So the general public could come in here and order a corsage if they wanted to?
Yes.
And what does the money go to?
To the FFA and flowers.
So the money's used to support the program? Thank you. Okay. Jessica, what are you going to show us how to do?
Flower arrangement.
A flower arrangement? There's no flowers here. What is this?
This is a greened up arrangement.
What's that?
It's just Oasis that's taped into a container and it's used greened, you know.
What's Oasis?
It's what the flowers are stuck in. It holds water and keeps the flowers from dying.
And these are ferns?
Baker's fern. Baker's fern.
Okay, and this is the first step?
Yes.
And how long do you have to go to school before you can do one of these?
Not long.
How long does it take to learn?
Took me about 2 months.
About 2 months?
Yes.
And do you make them professionally now?
Jobs, yeah.
But you also make them here to sell?
Yes.
Could you show us the first step?
This is the first
The
step.
first step with the flowers.
Just to make your basic design and with the flowers.
And what would that be?
It depends on which kind of arrangement.
Okay, let's see one.
Which kind would you like?
Whatever kind you would like. I'll leave it up to you.
I have this greened up for symmetrical.
Okay.
I could do it. I'll try.
Now, apparently, it's the very first few flowers that set the design and the shape. They create a line. And that's also usually done with an odd number of flowers for balance. What kind of flowers are you using there?
Stock.
That's a commonly grown cool weather type of plant that grows well in the greenhouse in the wintertime because it can tolerate cooler temperatures. So they're less expensive at this time of year than something like roses that requires a tremendous amount of heat. Although the big rose push is in just a couple of weeks, right?
Yes.
Valentine's
Day.
Valentine's Day, okay. Now these are a pale pink. What color do you think you would use to accent something like this?
You can use a lighter pink or a darker pink or a red. Here I have white and yellow.
And what are those flowers that you have down there?
There's the daisy, mums, carnations, and cushion mums.
Okay, and what's the white flower?
It's gyp. It's also known as baby's breath or gypsophilia
And what do you use that for?
as a filler.
Okay, could you show me a finished one?
I don't have any asymmetricals over here, but I have a crescent.
Okay. That's a crescent shape, okay. And this one that you started, what was this going to be?
A symmetrical.
a symmetrical shape. You can see that it's balanced with the 3 flowers determining the shape. Okay, and what else do we have here?
There's a freestyle. One of our
What was that?
freestyle.
Okay.
One
That
of the
one's
teachers-
beautiful.
Well, student teachers made.
One of the student teachers did this one? It's beautiful. I believe the student teacher that did this used to be a student here some time ago. And what's this one?
It's a regular centerpiece, round arrangement.
Okay, so here we have corsages, centerpieces, arrangements, asymmetrical, symmetrical, and they're all done here at the Vocational High School. We'll see you next week.
Hello, and welcome to Consumer Aware. I'm Adrienne Eisner, Director of the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. Today we're going to be talking about the difference between Medicare and Medicaid. Most people are 65 when they become eligible for Medicare, a health insurance program that is part of Social Security. Medicaid is another part of Social Security, but its purpose is to help cover health costs for low-income people, such as members of poor families with dependent children, some people over the age of 65, people who are blind, those with other disabilities, and pregnant women in certain circumstances. Many people are confused about the differences between Medicare and Medicaid because of their similar names. To help overcome this confusion, the United States Department of Health and Human Services is making available a free pamphlet called Medicare and Medicaid, There is a Difference. For your free copy, send your name and address to Department 589T, Consumer Information Center, Pueblo, Colorado, 81009. Medicare is an insurance program. Its hospital coverage is for almost all people 65 and older, regardless of their income. There are 2 groups of people under age 65 that it also covers: those with disabilities who have been entitled to Social Security disability payments for at least 2 years, and certain people with permanent kidney failure. Medicare services are the same throughout the United States. Medicaid is an assistance program that was established by federal law but is administered by the individual states. The programs vary somewhat from state to state within the federal guidelines. You apply for Medicare at your Social Security office. To get Medicaid, check with the Medicaid office in Middlesex County. They can be reached at 549-3884. Perhaps you are eligible for one or both of these programs. To learn more, send for your free copy of Medicare and Medicaid, There is a Difference. If you have any additional questions or need further advice, please be sure to contact us at the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. We're located in the Municipal Building, and we're open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Thank you for joining me on Consumer Aware. See you again next time.
On Monday night, the Township Council introduced an ordinance establishing an agreement with the Middlesex County Utilities Authority concerning the controversial Edgeboro landfill. A tentative agreement presented by Mayor Fox offers East Brunswick nearly $2 million per year as host community of the landfill and an additional $950,000 to provide for the majority of East Brunswick dumping fees. The proposed ordinance extends to 1992, at which time the Township and Authority will renegotiate host community fees in anticipation of decreased garbage dumping and in light of the county's scheduled opening of a trash incinerator to be located in Sayreville. At that time, the county is expecting to dump ashes and other garbage generated by the incinerator at Edgeboro. Other stipulations of the agreement provide for a health inspector for the landfill, road improvements of $2.4 million for the Route 18 Edgeboro intersection, cleanup along the borders of the South and Raritan Rivers, and an odor-reducing plan. The agreement would reduce projected 1988 municipal tax increases 10 to 17 cents to cover lost revenues from the landfill. A public hearing is scheduled for February 16th. William Tanner, Township Engineer, was on hand to explain road widening plans for the intersection of Hardenberg Lane and Riva Avenue. Citing a projected increase in traffic volume, additional road construction plans include the widening of Cranberry Road at Hall's Corner. That's all for this week, and thanks for watching.